And welcome to this very special conversation where I am joined by India's best-known investor, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Rakesh, pleasure to speak to you after such a long time. It's been a patchy performance for the market for the last few months. Do you feel worried that something is not going right? Are you disappointed with the string of disappointing earnings which has plagued us over the last few weeks? Would you say that you're a bit more concerned than you might have been 6 months back?
Udayan, well, you have an index which has gone from 5,200 to 9,200 in maybe 2 years. Someone who ran a marathon here, he has to pause, or he'll have a heart attack and die. What are our expectations? You go from 5,200 to 9,200. You outperform the world for 2 years continuous, right? So whether I worry or not, a market pausing at this moment, and at that time, I think it's, for the fact that it is not risen beyond that and it is pausing, I think there's no cause for worry at all. I would be worried if it, just goes on going up and goes on going up. I think the expectations are unrealistic. So,
that point I accept absolutely, Rakesh.
No.
My question
the point
is whether you worry about the reasons.
Well, reasons. See, what is it that pulled the market up? Right? There is a cyclical upturn in the economy, there's no doubt about it. India is structurally a very, very good story, there's no question about it. That we had a government about which we were optimistic, and I'm optimistic today also, right, which will bring about a lot of change. Decline in inflation because of decline in commodity prices, and a consequent decline in interest rates. My good friend Mark Faber has said that bull markets go up on rising profits, declining interest rates, and mysticism. So we have had, we are having, and we are expected to have further declining interest rates. We are setting the base of the stage for a very good growth and a continuous growth in earnings. So, market will pause, has paused. I think market is going to take time. I don't think we have to cross 9,000 in a hurry. And if it takes 3-6 months, I'm not bothered here. And it's going to take time, is my opinion.
Sure.
Market's not going to go
Let me turn the question around. Would you say then that in the next 3 to 6 months, the base for the next phase of this bull market will be formed, whether it's 8,000 or 8,200 or 7,800 or 7,500? Do you think in the next 3 to 6 months we'll form a base at a level which will probably not violate for maybe through 2016, 2017?
No, I think if we believe, if I say that India is in the mother of all bull markets, and if we believe that that bull market is alive, then I think the base which we form, that bottom should never be violated here. See, I had said even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when will you have a true bull market? And when will the mother of all bull markets be confirmed? We crossed 6,300, we came to 9,200. Let us suppose we have made the bottom at 8,000. Maybe it could go to 7,900, maybe 8,000, we already made it, we don't know. It could further go down also, I don't know. When it crosses 9,200, it's absolutely tested. It's a bull market. So, I would tend to say, but I don't know the time period markets could test us for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But market is going to test us, let me tell you. Market may give another chance. Markets are, it's not so easy to make money in markets, Udayan. Markets are going to test us. And I believe.
But what makes you believe, Rakesh, and that's my central point, which I started by asking you, what makes you think that we might be in for testing time for another 3 to 6 months? Is it because the earnings support is not coming through? Is that your central point of concern?
Earnings support and valuations. See, the general Nifty, there is a section of the market whose valuations are unbelievable. Mid-caps, at 25 times you get analyst reports, mid-caps, okay quality companies, 25 times FY17 earnings. I think there is no scope to go up, according to me. So I think unless and until, a certain, so you have those and there are some very good quality companies where everybody is piled up and valuations are unbelievable. So I think those companies will sure take time. And also, see, the fact is that earnings have disappointed. Now, the whole premise is that the macro is good, the interest rates will have fallen and will fall, earnings will go up. We have had a gain. Now we need empirical evidence. Market needs to be convinced that, actually there will be a big cyclical upturn. There will be a big structural upturn. And I believe it will happen. I can't tell you the time period.
What is your best guess though, Rakesh? I mean, if I had to pin you down on that, I know this cannot be predicted because it's already taken longer than what most people would have thought. This earnings acceleration that everybody's been hoping for. But if you were to stick your neck out and say, by the end of this year, by the end of this fiscal, what is your best guess on when we'll start to see the first of this upturn in earnings?
I think third quarter.
Third quarter of the calendar or the fiscal?
Of the fiscal. The real uptick, which will give conclusive evidence. I don't think the first quarter is going to show you anything. Maybe second quarter. And another thing also, see, then with respect to the government. Anyway.
Sure. But what disappointed you most, Rakesh, about the earnings picture? Some of your big holdings, as all of us know, companies like Lupin, usually they do not disappoint with earnings. Were you disappointed this time that such companies were also showing some kind of slackening of momentum?
No, but the expected, Lupin went up from 600 to 2,100 Udayan in 15 months flat. He earned 24, then he earned 41, he's earned 58 or 55. He's grown, he's more than doubled in 2 years. Then there is disappointment. Then, in my holding of Lupin for 12 years, there were 2 3-year periods. Therefore, 6 years Lupin never went up even 1%. And see ultimately what happened. So, then every rise has to be digested, both in profits and valuation. I'm not disappointed by Lupin at all.
Fair enough.
Look at how it has risen. And look at what the prospects are. For 1 year, Lupin doesn't grow. What is the difference? A stock, Nifty, it is the highest appreciated Nifty stock of the last 12 months. So how see, we have to, let us be rational. Let us look at expectations in relation to reality.
Fair enough.
If Lupin went from 600 to 2100 in 18 months, I should expect the next 18 months 4200.
That never happens. I take your point. Let me come back to this point about high valuations that you spoke about. If I remember correctly, a few months back you said the same thing about private banks. These are banks which everybody owns nowadays. You look at any portfolio there is Yes Bank, there's IndusInd Bank, there's Axis Bank. They're notably absent from your portfolio last I checked. Is valuation a point of concern in private banks for you still?
Well, then what happens, I wanted to buy a house. I didn't buy the right house. Now I can't get off the other house and buy the other one. So I think I misjudged. I think I missed it. Then let me see, just because I have a large portfolio doesn't mean I have not made mistakes. I have made many more mistakes. And as time passes and as I mature, I realize how many more mistakes I have made than the right ones. I always looked at return. I always looked at EPS. I never looked at book value. I never looked at return on assets. I never looked at quality of management. I made the mistakes, sir. But I feel one thing about the private banks, that except 1 or 2 banks, I don't see much difference between, say, a very good public sector bank and a very, very good private sector bank. Because I find they lend to the same people. So I don't know. And for this kind of valuations, you got to really have faith. I mean, to buy with these valuations, keep buying. And I missed the bus, let me tell you. Maybe the grapes are sour for me.
So, if you were to get another opportunity, Rakesh, maybe the market corrects more. Say we go down to the levels that you just spoke about, 75, 70, 800, and you find some of these private banks 10-15% cheaper from where they are today. Would you consider buying it, or do you think even at those price levels they won't be attractive?
See, first of all, I never said 7,500, 7,800, you can replay the interview. I said 8,000, 7,900. I said markets in a consolidation phase. So, let me correct you there. See, what I'll do at what level, then I don't know. I don't plan what I'll do when I come to the office. Right? So, if those valuations come, we'll have a look at it. We'll see what we do. One thing I will tell you, I am debt free. I have no debt for the first time in my life. When I entered the stock market in 1985, I had 5,000 rupees. I built my life on debt. Today, I have no effective debt against equity. And I'm not going to invest easily because I don't have debt.
Sure.
And there may be a lot of personal reasons involved in it. Of course, I don't rule it out. Tomorrow, if I see opportunity, I'll take any amount of debt and buy.
I'm sure.
So I don't know what I'll be doing.
Yeah, but you made the interesting point about a top quality public sector bank being not terribly different from a high quality private sector bank. Would that translate into saying that if you could find a State Bank of India at maybe 1.5 times book versus a private sector bank at 3.5 or 4 times book, you are inclined to look at an SBI favorably?
I am refrained to comment on individual stocks.
Okay.
You may draw any conclusions you want, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay. So this point about 8,000, 7,900, you think this correction or whatever you want to call it will take the nature of a time-wise consolidation for 3 to 6 months? You think most of the price damage is...
I think it will. See, to predict the price damage, whether it is done or not, I don't know. Right? But I feel, see, there could be further price damage. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Go ahead.
I can tell you one thing, we know the top. I don't know the bottom. And bottom could be 5%, 7% below this. Right? And the future markets will also depend on what the markets are. I mean, as I would tell you 2 years ago, thumb the table, do Ina, Mina, Mina, Mo and buy. I don't think it is that kind of market. The risk-reward ratios are not so attractive according to me. And I reserve the right to be wrong.
Sure. So, you would be surprised then if you saw the market going to 9,000, 9,100 immediately and take out that top?
I would be surprised. And remember one thing, the stocks which are holding up the Nifty are the financials. They are more than 30% of the Nifty. And we have a money policy coming up on Tuesday. Market expectation, there will be an interest rate cut. Let's see what happens. And let's see how market reacts whether or not there is an interest rate cut. And if markets don't go up after interest rate cut, then surely that will be a sign of weakness.
Your gut feeling is that 25 basis points is in the price. The market may sell on that news?
See, my personal feeling is Mr. Rajan is unpredictable. I don't know what he will do. But market is expecting a rate cut. It is all the analysts are. As they were told by Bloomberg.
Okay. Let me get back to the government's performance, because there has been some talk about that over the last few weeks on whether that is a point of disappointment, whether the pace is slower than what the market might have priced in. You clearly don't subscribe to that point of view that investors should be disappointed on that front.
No, I think we have made a mistake in assessing ourselves how India can change and how you can change things in India. See, let me tell you one thing. Things in India can only be evolutionary. They cannot be revolutionary. Am I able to communicate what I'm saying? You know, you cannot change things in India beyond a point without time. So maybe market has priced in things ahead of time. But change is there, it is solid. You saw Coal India production is up some 11% in the first 57 days. And see, government is taking time. I was talking to somebody from the defense, a person who's running a defense supplies company, a manufacturer. He was saying they're changing Mr. Parikar is changing the entire procedure for purchase and doing it boldly, understanding it. They're making in India will make a difference. Crystal has said that they're changing the tendering process in all the ministries. It's taking time. So I think the change will come. It will take time. It may not be as severe as you had earlier expected, but it's going to come. It's going to be good. It's going to take time. Make no mistake.
Sure.
And I think for the first time in this year, the government's tax collections will exceed what were the estimates of the budget. I can write down a piece of stamp paper and give you. No, which has changed, no?
Sure.
See, Udayan, it is so difficult today, to change anything in India. We started GST in 2004. Everybody says we need GST. For 11 years we can't agree. Again, politically you have to refer it to a panel. Look at electricity. It is so disturbing that Mr. Goyal is shouting there is generation. There is no buyer for electricity. Because the more the state electricity boards buy, the more the money they lose. And there is no money for them. How do you change that? In Gujarat they have done it. How do you do it in other states? You think of it. So things in India can be evolutionary, they cannot be revolutionary. And then I have another point of view also. Why we are, I have one very important point of view. See, India went through an economic liberalization from 1991. The day the managing director of a steel company came to know that his duty has been reduced from 150% to 100%, he had sleepless nights, right? But it came to 5%. 12 years later, that steel company became the lowest cost producer of steel in the world. And Indian industry and India's economy faced it and came out with flying colors. Now what happened? I said from economic liberalization, we are going to a governance liberalization. We thought this country, including Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, sab chalta hai. People will get a plan passed, FSI is 2, they'll make it 5, they'll do something, but now RTI has come. Right? So you bribe also, and your building also doesn't come up. So see, we have to realize law in this country is changing. We cannot do what we want. You got the coal blocks, some went to jail, everybody's coal block is cancelled. People made investment on that basis. What is the result? So boss, this governance revolution is taking place. It's going to change India. And everybody has contributed. The RTI has contributed a lot. And the stopping of corruption at the top is also going to contribute in a major way. But then the period of transition is so difficult. And you talk of this government, my father was a government officer. He used to tell me, Rakesh, corruption in this country got institutionalized after 1970. And it started from the top. See, I don't think we can remove corruption completely, but to reduce it substantially, you have to change systems. And the reduction in corruption has to start from the top where it has started. So I think these are all things, but I am very optimistic it will take time. And I think this matter of governance revolution is very important. जो समझ जाएंगे वो समझ गए, जो ना समझे वो अनाड़ी. जो समझ जाएंगे समय से बदल जाएंगे. Yeah, that is a fact. And you could create an HDFC is 12% of the Nifty HDFC and HDFC Bank. You could create an institution with integrity which is more than 10% of the Nifty today. Yeah? Think of it. It's not, my friend Mr. Damani has created DMart. I think it's going to be India's most successful retailer. He has done it with the utmost integrity. So I'm not talking of morals, I'm not talking of principles, I'm talking of realities. That governance is going to prevail in this country and you have to do things keeping the law in mind. I think we are going through that revolution, people will realize this, what's happening, and we are in the process of transition. In that transitionary period is very difficult and government is also overreacting at times, over-regulating, but government will also correct itself.
Sure.
That's what I feel of it.
Okay. Let me ask you a little bit about the nature of participation, Rakesh, because that's something you've often commented on in the past. The way domestic participation has picked up steadily over the last few months, and the little wrinkle that's cropped up with foreign participation over the last couple of months. How have you read that?
See, I think the domestic participation will continue and enhance. Now, the government is very much insistent that some part of the provident fund money be put in equity. I think that's going to be very big long-term money. It's another LIC in the making. Right? So, but Udayan, I have comments about the international scene. See, I feel we started a bull market in 1982. I get all these feelings, and that's one of the reasons I'm debt-free. That we started a bull market in 1982. The US bond 10-year went from 30 years, if you had made that was the best investment of your life. It went from 13-14% to 2%. Germany is negative. I mean, Italy is negative 2 years. So how long can this bull market in financial assets last? I'm afraid of that. China is in a new, China is a new high every day 12-month high. And if you see profits and sales are expected to dip by 5%. So how on the basis of these interest rate reductions are you going to continue bull markets? And 35 years, Udayan, is a long period for any boom. So sometimes I get this dirty feeling, boss, is this party in financial assets going to change, end all worldwide?
That's scary, Rakesh, what you're saying. This has carried on.
No, I get that feeling.
Lingering fear has been there for some time in the market, but it's just not disrupted the market enough. I mean, you get these temporary scares and they blow over, they're papered over. Are you saying that the time of reckoning is going to come over the next few months?
Who knows? It will come next few months, it will come after 5 years, but it's going to come. And see, economically in the world, Udayan, we are facing a period. See, Mr. Rajan said in an interview, nobody understands the ramifications of aging. Now, you have never had societies with so much prosperity, with so much life expectancy, and then this kind of demographic profile. You have never had such low interest rates with such low inflation. So there is no precedent. We don't know what will happen. And technically in 1% interest rate, the PE should be 100 here. And why not? In Japan they were. But they are still very high, much higher than the Dow. So, all kind of questions come to my mind. But I know one thing. Whatever happens in the world, if the world slows, commodity prices will go through the roof, will go through the drain. And I see no reason why they won't here. That's very advantageous to India. India is demographically very good. So if we get our act together, we are going to be the cynosure of the world.
Okay. So finally, what describes your state of mind at this point? Cautious and confused in the near term, longer term, very bullish still?
I think you've taken a word out of my mouth. Cautious and confused.
But bullish in the long term, right?
What else? We know nothing other than equity. What will I do?
No.
I can't become a broadcaster. I can't go and live in Nainital. I have 3 children. I have to send them to school every day. Sure. You don't go to Bombay then?
Very rarely, my friend. But if I do, I will certainly drop by. I will certainly drop by to have a drink with you. I will. Okay. I promise that.
Yeah, I will actually. Then I'm a little confused. I get all kind of feelings. But I don't know why. And India is going to take time. And I don't think there's much downside.
Terrific. Good to hear that, Rakesh, and good to speak to you after a long time. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time today.